So hello everyone, welcome to today's introduction to our Find Your Future Media, Marketing and PR Day. Thank you for joining me into this Breaking Into session. My name is Kate, I'm one of the careers consultants at the university and I work to support our Media, Culture and Heritage department. I'm also responsible for our annual Creative Careers Information Conference, which is why I'm running this session today. In this session, I will be going through a very brief introduction into breaking into this industry before introducing you to the employer panel sessions you can join today. I will first start off with an overview of this area of the labour market, as well as highlighting entry routes and resources to support you in finding opportunities. I'll also be touching on how you can enhance your experience to support you in making a competitive application for your desired destination also. So to kick off, let's begin with, like most industries, there has been less graduates recruited into the media sector in 2020 and less vacancies have been advertised in 2021, which might sound a bit daunting, but according to the 2021 High Flyers report, which you can see a screenshot of on screen at the moment, there are only 3 sectors that have advertised more vacancies between 2019 and 2021, and they were consumer goods, investment banking and consulting. So media was down 18.7%. However, we can compare this to things like chemicals and pharmaceutical sector, which people often associate more with graduate opportunities, and that fell 34.8%. So it's not maybe as bad of a picture as you might think it would be, considering sort of the pandemic and the past sort of 2 years that we've had. If we consider today's title of Media, Marketing and PR, it's important to bear in mind that media, which is sort of represented on the figures that you can see on screen here, is a business sector you can go into, whereas marketing and PR are roles that you'll find across a large number of business sectors. So you'll find opportunities across those industries, and that is reflected in the 2020-2021 annual prospects report on what graduates go on to do. This report looks at the latest results from the 2017-18 graduate outcome survey and found that marketing associate professionals were actually one of the most common types of jobs graduates go on to do 15 months after completing their studies. So though there might be less vacancies advertised in the media sector, still vacancies for things like marketing roles are going to be present across a range of those different business sectors. So commonly students are going into those roles after graduation. We can take a look at that in the context of industries. So health professions do remain the highest type of work, making up 14.5% of the graduates who responded to our graduate outcome survey across all universities in England. As you can see, arts, design and media professionals made up 5.9%, with marketing, PR, sales coming in at a slightly higher 7%. So again, that might seem like a lower percentage if we compare it to health professions. However, if we look at the figure for management, the type of work that often comes to mind when you think of things like graduate training schemes, for instance, you can see that that role only makes up 4% of respondents. So this is a very, very brief overview of some of the sort of the key labour market insight that we use when it comes to graduate destinations and graduate opportunities. But you can see that though it is a competitive sort of field and market, there are opportunities that are going to be available for you in media, marketing and PR. So when we want to think about how you go about entering those fields, there's 2 different sorts of views. So as we've explored, the labour market figures are with media and creative graduate specific vacancies. There's less of those directly available, but there are lots of people working in that industry. And the reason that may be is because of the recruitment method. So the High Flyers report, which we looked at first, measures the opportunities that are available or that are being advertised by those employers in the Times Top 100 Graduate Employers list. Now, these are the type of employers that are recruiting through graduate-specific jobs and training schemes. So those graduate vacancy option that is on screen at the moment. Graduates will enter these roles as well, so sort of the marketing associate roles that we've looked at, or the PR roles, through what we're going to term direct entry opportunities with organisations. And those types of vacancies appear when there's a need in the company that might require a degree, but are not advertised specifically for graduates like graduate training schemes are. You're more likely to find this type of opportunity a few months before your course is completed and you become available for work. And the difference between them is that the direct entry vacancies, because you're being hired into a role within an organisation, you're going to be sort of doing that job immediately. So often they might require a few more bits of specific experience or even specific qualifications versus those graduate training scheme options, which are often open to people who are from any sort of degree background or discipline, because there's that training rotational element to it. So you want to think about sort of these different opportunities and how you are going to be looking at accessing them throughout the sort of the next year, if you are in your final year, or coming up to it as you progress throughout your degree. So those graduate vacancies are the ones that you can be seen advertised now at the moment. Sort of their peak application period is from the September to the December, and some great opportunities for you to talk to employers today who potentially are going to be advertising these types of opportunities right now. Some of our employers today are more small and medium enterprises, which are often referred to as SMEs, and they potentially are going to be having roles that you potentially are going to be able to apply to towards the latter end of your degree before you are looking at graduating. So you want to potentially ask them about both these sort of graduate vacancies and more sort of direct entry vacancies in the panel sessions that we have going on this afternoon. If you are looking at sort of sourcing these types of opportunities, you can tailor your search method to either the graduate vacancy route or the direct entry vacancy route. So right now, on top graduate employers will be advertising opportunities on site specifically aimed at students and graduates. So some of the most well-known are sites like Prospects, Milkground and Bright Network, but there are a whole host of other options, the Jobs Crowd, the Graduate Recruitment Bureau, and you can find a long list of those using the Finding Jobs tab on the Career Service website. Now, you will also find these sites advertise options like placement years and internships as well. So even if you're not in your final year of study and you're thinking about potentially doing a placement year in one of these industries, there will certainly be opportunities for you that are being advertised right now on sites like this also. When it comes to maybe a little bit further down in the year and you're looking for direct entry opportunities or even maybe part-time work in this area, instead of using sort of general job search websites like Indeed or Total Jobs, there are sites like Campaign Marketing Week, PR Week and the Drum Jobs that focus specifically on opportunities in these fields. So you can give yourself a more tailored starting point than having to try and think about different keywords to put in the more general vacancy websites. And there are, again, a lot more of these. You can find them if you pop onto the Newcastle University Career Service website again, and if you select the Exploring Occupations tab, you'll see a section that says Media, Creative and Cultural. There are a range of different industry profiles in that section, and each have a Finding Jobs tab, which will give you these more direct starting points for you to have a look at. If you've not been onto the Newcastle University Career Service website before, it's just www.ncl.ac.uk/careers. So we think about who are the main graduate employers in this sector. And this is a really good example of using the resources that are already out there and at your disposal. So on the screen now, you can see a demo of me looking through the Prospects website. And the Prospects website is written and aimed specifically at students and graduates, and it is kept very up to date by the body who oversees all of the UK higher education institution career services, ADCAS. And they have on their website a function that lets you look at different job sectors. There is one for media and internet, and on the screen here you can see a demo of the marketing, advertising and PR sector overview. And as you've just seen, on those overviews, you can see a list of the top graduate employers in those fields. You'll also find on the media sector overview a list of graduate employers in fields like journalism, film and TV, publishing, games, and different broadcasters as well. So I would definitely suggest taking a look through those overviews, looking at the employers that are listed on there, and potentially you can go to those employers' websites, look at their careers pages, try and target different opportunities that are available there. And again, these graduate recruiters are potentially the recruiters who you're going to find vacancies being advertised for right now. So thinking about making a competitive application for these types of vacancies, you want to be thinking about how you can evidence your knowledge and skills, and experience can be a great way to do this. Internships and placements are a common staple in this industry, and we currently have a number of vacancies advertised on My Career, which you can access as a Newcastle University student and graduate. There will be a range of different prior knowledge and experiences required when you look at these types of vacancies. However, you will find some opportunities that may list experience as desirable criteria rather than essential criteria. And these are great options if you are sort of in your final year or in your penultimate year, and you potentially are interested in these types of fields, but maybe don't have as much experience already. There are still time to fit in an internship, even if you are looking at applying to graduate schemes or direct entry vacancies this year. This is an example of a project that's currently being advertised right now at the moment, and you can see that they're looking for someone who has an interest in experience in digital marketing. So the experience is an essential, the interest has a basic awareness of SEO and PPC, and it does say, however, no previous experience is required. So you want to think about how potentially you can build that understanding and evidence that motivation and passion for that type of work. So you might think about doing that through things like running your own social media, thinking about having a look at reading industry magazines, listening to podcasts, or you may have even done short courses on sites. Things like Google Digital Garage, for instance, is an excellent resource, and they run free courses in digital marketing, sort of communications and tech. So when you come to say to that employer, when you're looking at that internship or that graduate scheme, I'm really interested in this type of work, you can actually say, and this is evidenced through my sort of initiative to take on these courses or read these magazines or get insight from these different podcasts. As well as sort of Google Digital Garage, you can find short courses on sites like FutureLearn, for instance, and a lot of these sites do offer, if they come with a fee, discounts for students. So for instance, UniDays currently has a 30% off voucher for platforms like FutureLearn, but you can find, again, a full list of potential free courses that you can have a look at on the Newcastle University Career Service website. If you click on the Virtual Opportunities tab, you'll see a drop down for free online courses. It's by no means an exclusive list. You potentially will find others out there, but it is a good starting point. If you're thinking about, being stuck in that cycle of how do I sort of give you experience if you won't let me sort of onto your program to get experience, this can be a really good way to sort of evidence your motivations and potentially look at hitting that sort of enthusiasm and desirable criteria. So if we want to think about what's happening today, we've got a couple of sessions that are running. The first one is at 10 o'clock, the second is at 2 o'clock. I've popped some QR codes on the screen for you. You can scan those to take you to the event page where you'll be able to pick up the Zoom ID and passcode for these sessions. And we have 4 different employers at each of these sessions today. And this is a really, really good opportunity for you to connect with these employers, to ask questions, to hear about their opportunities, whether you are in final year or you are in first year. It is a good opportunity for you to start to make a bit of a connection with these employers and ask some questions. So with that in mind, what we want you to do is go to these sessions, but actually make the most of it. Don't just sort of go and listen, which is great. Try and think about asking questions at this session, because what it can do then is provide you grounding to sort of connect and follow up with that speaker or company after the event. And you never know, that might turn into an opportunity. So send a thank you note on sort of sites like LinkedIn or Twitter. Make sure they are professional sites that you send a thank you note through. Remind them of who you are, refer to what you found interested in the talk, mention something maybe specific that you enjoyed or you thought was interesting, and add a request if you would like to open a dialogue. So for instance, thank you for answering my question at today's Find Your Future panel session. I found what you said about whatever the question that you asked really interesting and insightful. Would you be open to discussing this further with me at a convenient time for you in the next few weeks? And what that allows you to do is open that dialogue. It allows you to then potentially in the next few weeks follow up with that employer. And even if they aren't advertising maybe a graduate vacancy now, you've almost established a bit of a connection with that employer or organisation to begin with. And then you can follow up on that, and they might have maybe more of those direct entry opportunities available. So we really want you to make the most of today's session.